Shape your child's personality is what we are looking at today. So let me quickly share this video. Yes, how to shape your child's personality. It is what we are looking. Yes, how to shape your child's personality. It is what we are looking at today. It is still the understanding your child's challenge with the vision at today. It is still the understanding your child's challenge with the Visionary Parents Academy. We started the challenge at the beginning of this month, and the first tale, it is you I am losing. Is you I am losing. I am losing. When we do not understand our children, we are going to assume, and we are going to parent with assumption, and that assumption many times it is not right. It is many times it's wrong. It is why even very many times when we try to do a particular thing, we try to modify a particular behavior, we don't get results. Why? Because we are not parenting we don't understand actually what we are even trying to modify. We don't understand the root cause. So this month is all about understanding your child. We want to understand our children, all about them. And if you're in the academy, you agree with me that it has been eye-opening. We've looked at a lot of areas in our children. We've looked at areas of temperament. We've looked at their moves, looked at areas that will actually help us understand them. And today, away from understanding, we want to look at their personality, because when we see someone, an adult grown, what we see is the personality. Oh, I like this person's personality. You know how the totality of that person is the person's personality. Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. She said it's been eye-opening. I appreciate you, ma'am. So what we see is the totality of the person. We see someone, oh, they are confident. We see someone, oh, they are impatient. We see someone, oh, they are generous. We see someone, they are cheerful. These are the personalities we see, the traits we see, we admire in them. We conclude because of their personality, we want to go and relate with them. It's not necessarily because of their temperament and all of that, because of their personality. So how is this personality? How do we shape our children's personalities to be healthy, to be the kind of personality that people too will see and say, I want to relate to this person. This person is healthy. This person is healthy. You know, that is it. Personality. When you say, oh, someone is healthy, hey, said hi, thank you, mom, thank you for joining. When you say someone is healthy, a lot of times on social media now, you hear people say, oh, you are traumatized, go and deal with your trauma, go and drop your baggage, please don't drop your baggage on me, you know. So it is about personality. All of that is the person's personality. So that's what we are talking about today. We are learning today how to shape our children's personality. Now, before we go into today, I expect that at the end, oh, thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. I expect that by the end of today, you should understand how your child's personality is shaped, so that you can know, you will also learn how to help your child, how the personality is formed and how to shape the personality. My name is Enime Orebo, and this is Parenting with Enime Orebo, powered by the Visionary Parents Academy. Visionary Parents Academy is an annual academy, a 1-year-long academy where parents get empowered, get skilled up, get knowledge and everything to parent the children they actually have. Now we begin by creating our vision, because we want to know exactly where we are going to. After then, we set our goals and we begin to take the steps, take the paths that will lead to our vision. So in the academy, what we do is we get you empowered, we get you skilled up, so that at the end of the day, you are raising the child in your big picture. I always say, if you ask any parent, everyone wants to raise successful children. Everyone wants to raise healthy, well-balanced children. But hey, we see people these days, you know, who are not well-balanced, who are not successful. Where did all that come from? Every parent actually has a vision. If you see many parents, they'll call their children, oh, doctor, oh, lawyer, oh, professor. They call their children, the trendy one is star boy, star girl. You know, that's what we call our children. That is because parents expect, there is certain expectations of their children at the end of the day. But hey, not everyone gets to be that. So what is the issue? So what we do in the Visionary Parents Academy is to empower parents. Can't you see? Oh, where are you from? Can't you see my message? I'm from Nigeria. Thank you. Oche Patrick, I'm from Nigeria. Thank you. At the end of the day, we want to raise our children who will actually who fits the vision that we have in our parenting. So yes, the Visionary Parent Academy is an all-year round academy that is open, that you can register. Unfortunately, we are closed for this year, 2025. However, we are open for registration for 2026. So you can leave a message to join us. And we have challenges every month. One of the things we do every month is we have a challenge that will help you take an aspect of your parenting seriously. Now, the idea is this. Oh, thank you. Tell 10 of your friends to subscribe. Thank you. They are parents. That would be fantastic. If they are parents, that would be fantastic. They'll subscribe and they'll learn. Okay, what was I saying? Okay. So we want to we take a topic and we treat it as a challenge all through the month, so that by the end of the month, you understand exactly what you learned. You are taking action and you are getting results. So this month is all about understanding our children. And last week, it was moving from assumption to awareness, being aware of who your children really are, based on a lot of factors, talking about their temperament, talking about their developmental phase, talking about their social interaction, talking about just understanding your child. It is what we are focused on today. And last week, we are focused on this month, and last week we did all of that, and this week is all about how to shape our children's temperament and how to shape our children's personality. So let's go. Like I said, you're actually 18 years of age. You just bumped into my channel. Okay, thank you. I may come back to talk about that later. It's distracting me right now. So like I said, personality is what you see in a child. It's what you see in a person. At the end of the day, this person is very confident. That is the personality. Now, there is something called temperament. If you're in the Visionary Parent Academy, you already know what is called temperament. The innate wiring of a person. People are born with different traits. We are born with strengths. We are born with weaknesses. Unfortunately for parents, if we do not understand these strengths and weaknesses, we may just think, we always think, the child is misbehaving, or we compare our children with other people, and it's a lot for us. So it leads to assumption. And when we assume, then we take decisions based on our assumption. So personally, people don't, when it comes to temperament, yes, the temperament is always there. It doesn't fade. But personality is what we see at the end of the day. Sorry. Personality is what we see at the end of the day, because a lot of factors have gone into that person's temperament. That is why you see someone who is shy, who was shy at birth, for example, they grew up becoming very confident. I will always use Pastor Samadeyemi as an example, because when I see him, I see that his personality is not supposed to. From his personality, you can tell that the way he is calm, spoken, and all of that, you will tell that is temperament, being calm. But someone can easily say, he looks like a phlegmatic. They are not really born leaders, because they have the tendency to relax. But Pastor Samadeyemi has been able not to just rest on his temperament weakness, but also to refine himself, to push himself away from his temperament weakness and refine and become someone of great personality. It is where we are seeing him as a leader. If you know about temperament, there are some people you will see, you will need to have series of interrogations and research to be able to say, this may be this person's temperament. But there are some people you will see, you just see them, the first time they open their mouth to talk, you can easily tell their temperament. The first time they stand up to walk, you can easily tell their temperament. The first time they interact with you, you can easily tell their temperament. And Pastor Samadeyemi is someone that you see, you know his temperament. You don't even need to think twice. But yet, he is a leader, a very successful one, So what am I trying to say? That is his personality. He did not just relax at the level of his temperament. Yeah, I read some time ago, someone said on Facebook that people should stop hiding on that temperament. Yes, stop hiding on that temperament. Grow up already. You are someone, let's say you easily get angry. Grow up already. No one gives you a medal for easily getting angry. Grow up already. Something like that. So Pastor Sam probably saw himself and worked on himself. That is now his personality. His temperament will always still come in the picture. Will make him calm, like he's a calm person. He will make him organized if he's an organized person. If he's of the let's say he's male, for example, he will make it organized. He will make him fun to be with. If he's a typical sanguine person, will make him stubborn, strong-willed if he's a choleric person, but it will not stop him from developing a fine personality that he is supposed to develop, personality for success that he is supposed to develop, or personality that will stand him out that he is supposed to have. That is the thing. So today is about how do we now raise our children, nurture healthy personality in our children. I've talked about temperament already. I've talked about how a child is naturally wired. That is temperament. Now, personality is formed by various factors. How we are raising our children, how you are parenting your child, has a role to play in the child's personality. The environment the child is, home, neighborhood, has a role to play in your child's personality. Your child's school definitely has a role to play in your child's personality. Your child's church, everything around your child, what your child, the seed that is constantly being planted in your child every now and then, they all have a role to play in your child's personality. So now this is why as a parent, you must be super intentional about all of those things, because at the end of the day, temperament goes a long way, but temperament can be refined. The personality we see today is the refined temperament. Someone can be have low self-esteem. Temperament can influence self-esteem, low self-esteem. Someone can also have over high self-esteem that is also sabotaging. So temperament plays a role. Then how the child is being nurtured plays a key role in the child's personality. Your parenting style as a parent plays a key role. For example, if you're an authoritarian parent, for example, what do you expect? Let's look at an authoritarian parent. You have a child. Your child is choleric. What does that tell you? It simply tells you that your child that you are bossing about, that doesn't have an opinion where you speak, that your child that you are not allowing to take decisions for themselves. Now, because that child is choleric, that child naturally has a tendency to rebel. Now, this is why many parents don't get it right. When parents say, oh, our parents did this, we turned out well. One of the things I always tell parents is that your parents may have done something, and you turned out the way you turned out well in your definition. That is fine. But do you know that temperament plays a great role? And the information you were exposed to when your parent was raising you also played a great role. The environment and all of that also played a great role. A lot of things, a lot of information we were not privy to, we're not aware of. They are just here everywhere. So the environment is already shaping your child in a way. So if you want to rely on your parents raising you, remember that the environment is no longer the same. The times are no longer the same. Because the environment played a great role then, and your temperament also played a great role. If as a parent you were kind of phlegmatic, you are phlegmatic, it means you are peaceful. You are a peaceful parent. So you are a peaceful person. So it was easy for your parents to raise you because of your peaceful nature, because of your naturally obedient nature. So you were not rebellious. You were not able to stand up to your parents. So you just took everything, all their parenting choices for you. You took all of them hook, line, and sinker. It was super easy. Now you are raising your child. Your child is not phlegmatic. Imagine that your child is melancholic. It simply means that if you want to pressure your child the way your parents pressure you, your child may be traumatized. Your child may grow up with a great deal of baggages. It also means that if you want to raise and pressure your child the way your parents pressure you, and your child is choleric, it simply means that you may have recipe for raising rebellious child. Your child may become rebellious at the end of the day. So it's why I say to parents, nah, it's not your child raised you. Temperament plays a great role. It is why you have three children, you are raising them, you are being forceful and raising them. At the end of the day, all of them will take that your force and interpret it. All of them will take that your force and interpret it differently. What is it, please? Okay, so let's go. So I just talked about temperament and I talked about personality. Now let's look at temperament, because I don't want to sit down and take the temperament topic afresh, because we have videos in this channel already that we've talked about temperament. So I don't want to talk about temperament afresh. We have the sanguine, we have the choleric, we have the melancholic. The sanguine is usually outgoing type, who is so social, who is outgoing. Now this child, I was sharing the Visionary Parent Academy that day, that see, when you have a child, for example, who is the sanguine, who is super outgoing, no matter how much you cage that child, you are not able to remove that sanguine, that lively, that life of the party away from that child. No matter how much you cage that child, you are not able to remove it from the child. What you do is, you may have a child who is able to set boundaries a bit, who is able to know when to leap, to look, and all of that. But removing that from the child, you won't be able to remove that from the child. Likewise, you have a child who is naturally not outgoing. You have the phlegmatic child who is naturally not outgoing, and at the end of the day, you cage that child. You are just going to end up having that child not able to socialize at all, not able to socialize. That is what you end up, a child who is not able to socialize. Now this is where understanding your child comes in. If you now understand, okay, I have a sanguine child, who likes to go, who likes to jump, who likes to, what do they call it, a leap before looking. So a little bit of structure, not a little bit of structure, a great deal of structure will help this child. A great deal of boundaries will help this child understand boundaries, because like I said, they leap before they look. What does that mean? Highly impulsive. So which means they are going to get into trouble a lot of the time. But if you have a child who is phlegmatic, you want to give them a bit more freedom to explore, to take initiative, just so they can take initiative, they can be self-responsible, they can socialize. You want to let them experience a lot of adults, a lot of meeting people. So you are not going to say, oh, you have a friend, you have a neighbor whose children are caged inside the house, yet when they come outside, they are all lively and everywhere. Because of that, that's a yardstick for you to raise your children. You cage your children in the house. Your children are their children. They are not the same temperament. So when they grow up, while the other one will have a sociable personality as influenced by temperament, the other one who has a naturally not sociable personality that was caged will just be, should I say, will never be able to socialize. We have adults these days, we have very many adults who they will tell you, I don't like going out. They will give you, I'm one of them. I will give you 1,000,001 excuses not to go out. I just told myself that day that, gosh, while I was in Lagos and I had a lot of networking opportunities, I always had excuses. Funny enough, they were never valid. Even me, in my own heart, I knew that those excuses were not valid. But you see, that's dragging yourself. Why? Because we were locked indoor. We were children that were not allowed to go out. Like you just hear my dad, you come back from school, you hear my dad's car, the next thing, anywhere you are. In fact, people used to use it to threaten us back then. They would tell you, I'll tell your daddy you came downstairs, because we're living upstairs. I will tell your dad you came downstairs. They will now look for a way to soak, went to fetch water, went to buy something, just look for a way to not just lie, So till today, and funny enough, not all my siblings are like this. Not all my siblings are like me. I have siblings who are outgoing, who never stay in their house. Why? because of their temperament. Their temperament played a great role. Even though we're all raised the same way, because I'm naturally like a compliant person, I did not like getting into trouble. I remember one time we had our cousin stay with us, and that was how my younger brothers learned to drive. My dad actually had 2 cars. So when he drove one to work, the other would be at home. We had our cousin stay with us. I would teach my siblings how to drive. He was supposed to be teaching me and my 2 younger brothers how to drive. I never, not that I didn't have the courage to learn to drive, because I would not want to, my dad would call and ask, because my dad trusted me more than my 2 younger brothers, because we were the one at home, the other ones had gone out. So I never had like, I'll be like, if daddy now comes, it is better I am not there. Like, I don't know what to say. So I'd rather maybe go to church, go somewhere, so that I am not there. So that when he comes and says, did anybody move this car? I will say, I don't know. And I don't know is really, I don't know. Not that I will be lying, because I don't want to cover for you people. So I didn't have that. That was not that I didn't have the courage to learn. I was such an obedient child. Now imagine a child you naturally ask to stay in one place, and she stays in one place. You're now locking the child inside. What do you now expect? Nah, you've taken a lot of opportunities away from that child. So that child will grow up being, should I say, self-restrictive in a lot of things, and we don't know why. How personality is formed is what we are still talking about. So I've said parenting style. Your parenting style has a great role to play in your child. Your parenting style. I've used choleric and what is it called? I've used choleric and phlegmatic. I've used it repeatedly here. The melancholic also, they are thoughtful and sensitive. Let me just a bit about them. They are thoughtful and sensitive. And we have phlegmatic, who are peaceful and easygoing. Then we have the sanguine, who are outgoing and lively, and the choleric, who are strong-willed and they are born leaders. Now, these are the natural tendencies of these people, the natural traits of these people. So when you are not raising them as a parent, you need to be aware of this, because at the end of the day, we all want to raise children who are resilient, who are people smart, who are patient, who are courageous, who have integrity. Now, one thing you should know, that these people, they all have, you see, all these traits, not all of them have it in, should I say, in a level that will help them now thrive. Like patience, for example. The choleric is not naturally a patient person. The sanguine is naturally not a patient person. Okay, give patience to melancholic and phlegmatic. Now imagine you are raising a child who is naturally not a patient person. So what are you going to do? You are going to have at the back of your mind that because you want this child to be patient, or because patience is a virtue, this child needs to be patient, you need to put that into consideration. So your parenting style, you can't be raising a choleric being authoritarian, being bossy, being demanding, pressuring. You can't raise a choleric like that. You can't raise a sanguine like that either. Because if you try to raise a sanguine like that, you will end up, because who they are naturally impulsive. I broke this down in the Visionary Parents Academy the other day. I said, look at the factors, look at how they are naturally wired. You know these children, you see them, they are always happy, they are always laughing, they are always about, they are impulsive. They seem to be shallow. I want to use the word spontaneous or random. They are just playful all over the place. Children are playful, children are all over the place, but you see the sanguine, they take the lead. They are super playful and super all over the place. So as a parent, when you have this in mind, you want to know how to raise these children. So if you are an authoritarian parent, you keep pressuring this child, it simply means that you are even wasting your time, because what will happen is you and this child, you will just grow apart, especially when they start becoming preteens and teenagers. You will just grow apart, because they will have friends who don't judge them as much as you judge them. It is why they can easily follow friends. They are very impulsive. They are people's pleaser because they love people's validation. They want to be the happening people. They want to be loved naturally. So now you are not giving them that love at home, because most of the times the things they do is not like they intend to do them. It's just their impulsive nature. They have not developed their executive functioning skills, because for them it takes a little more time to develop self-discipline. That is where patience in parenting comes in. So by the time you are not giving them a headache in the house, what are they likely going to do? They are likely going to teach towards peers, teach towards the outside, where it looks they are not being judged. Now seeds will be planted from outside. Whatever you are saying will no longer hold water. So that seed that is planted will germinate and will help them form who they are, their personality. So if they are criminally minded, you are teaching them out, you are teaching them in the house how not to be criminally minded, how to be honest, to have integrity, and you are at the same time pushing them. They find more comfort outside, then there is every likelihood that they are going to learn from them. That outside is going to shape their personality more than you. That outside is going to influence who they become more than you. Then you have the choleric also. Naturally, they are strong-willed. Like I said, when it comes to moral development, no child comes from the grave. Sorry, is it grave? No. Sorry, please. No child comes from heaven knowing how to behave. The only thing is, children have should I say, some children come loaded. Yes. So when you want to teach them certain things, some have the capacity to learn more than others. So for example, there are children naturally who have the generosity traits. So when you now teach them how to be generous, it is easy for them to just grab it and run with it. There are children who are naturally patient, So when you want to talk to them about patience, it is easy for them to just grab it and run with it, because you are teaching them, it's easy for them. When we talk about people are born, they'll say, oh, somebody, he just got into the football field and he started playing as if he's always played before. They are born with these things, and these things are also skills that children or individuals are born with. So as a parent, you now have the choleric child. Your choleric child is naturally strong-willed. They are impatient, kind of, and you now realize that, okay, I want my child to be a patient person. That is personality at the end of the day. And you as a parent, you are authoritarian. It simply means that you are not even patient with that child. It simply means that you are going to pressure that child a great deal. So what are you doing? The child already comes loaded with impatience. The child already comes loaded with intolerance. The child already comes loaded with stubbornness, or however you want to call it. And then you are not kind of nurturing those same traits in your child. So definitely your child is going to grow and have that kind of personality. It's going to be described as things like mean, things like wicked, things like sadists, things like narcissists. Not because the child was born a narcissist, not because the child was born a sadist, not because the child already had he came loaded with strong will, with intolerance. And what you did by your parenting style, you further nurtured those things in your child. Now, this is where, as a parent, you must understand your child. You must also start with you. Start with you, understanding the child you want to raise. Like you want to create your parenting vision What kind of child do I want to raise? I say to parents, in creating your parenting vision, you must look at, it's not just about today for your child. It's not just about, oh, I want to raise a successful child. You know, success is relative, and there are different areas of your child's life. You may want your child to be successful financially. What of spiritually? You are a Christian. Do you want your child to be successful spiritually, like being in a Christian, walking on the path, upholding your values? That is also success. You want your child to be able to build relationships. You want your child to have a family. When your child has a family, he has a wife, he has a husband, he is able to enjoy family. Your child is not the one that, oh, we divorce today, divorce tomorrow, divorce next tomorrow, or, oh, domestic violence in his home. That is success we are looking at in that aspect, you know. Then you also want to look at, okay, friendship, relationship. Your child shouldn't be the one that will be betraying people up and down, that will be dishonest up and down, you know. We also want, these are all of them. You want to see that it's not just about, oh, I want to raise successful children. No. You want to be sure what success means to you. You want to break down the every areas, important areas of life. Now, the personality your child is going to form is going to influence how your child, whether your child is going to be successful in the areas of life or not. This is why I said to parents, you need to start a vision. When you have a vision, you know exactly where you are going to. Then after having a vision, you need to understand your child. You need to even understand yourself. After having a vision as a parent, you need to now understand, okay, this is where I am going to, or rather, this is where I want to go. What do I need to get to where I want to go? Do I need a bag, water, food? What do I need to get to where I want to go? It is what the Visionary Parents Academy is all about. Helping you get to where you want to go. Empowering you for the journey. We empower you for your parenting journey. So however your parenting journey is going, wherever you want your parenting journey to lead you to, the Visionary Parents Academy empowers you to get there. So you want to come to us, you want to register, you want to drop a question now, you want to drop your questions in the comment section, you want to ask Parenting with a Vision. Yes, thank you, ma'am. You want to ask how you can join. Like I said, 2025 is closed, but we are open already for 2026. You can begin to make inquiries now. You can begin to make commitments monthly, and by 2026, you just join without any hassle at all. So if you have a choleric child, for example, that means you need to understand. You need to super work on yourself. You cannot afford to be pushy. You cannot afford to be bossy. You need to understand yourself and understand how to raise that child so they can come out with the personality traits that will help them thrive. Then you also have a melancholic child who is super sensitive, who internalizes hurt so much. I know what that means. Who will not want to take risk. Now, this is something that is natural with them. They are born with it. However, these are weaknesses that they shouldn't grow with because they are sabotaging. I was sharing in the academy yesterday, in the Visionary Parent Academy yesterday, I said, my 8-year-old, his first approach is fear-based. It is not because of anything. It is actually because of his temperament. It's fear-based. They are not risk takers. Now, let me share with you something that actually happened that went further to, should I say, escalate or nurture that fear in him some more. A couple of months ago, his older brother almost had an accident. A bike almost hit his older brother. And it was very chaotic. Very, very chaotic. So I live in a community that is kind of, I don't know the right word to describe it now. So the bike almost hit the brother. And at the end of the day, the bike, they kind of spins the whole issue that I should pay for their treatment because the bike fell, it got injured, they spot their phone in the process. And I later found out that they were on their phone when they were trying to cross. You know, two of them, they were pressing their phone. They said they had a transaction of over 40 million. Their phone was almost how many million? iPhone 16. Their bike was how many million? At the end of the day, they gave me a total bill of almost 100 million to pay. And one of them said, even my car cannot even pay. So I should just come and be telling them. So it was chaotic, it was dramatic, because I did not understand how you almost hit a child. You are telling me to come and pay for your expenses that you hit the child, just that God came and saved the whole thing. You know, it was dramatic. So since then, he has this fear of crossing the road. Even if he wants to cross the road even if he wants to cross a road that is not so busy, you know, he will still hesitate. Like, his fear has even made a bike to hit him again. Sorry, almost, because his fear. When I'm trying to say, okay, we are going to overcome this fear gradually, I'll hold him by his hand, and once he sees a bike coming, the next thing, he will just automatically have all the power in this world, and he will set himself free from where I'm holding his hand with the grip, you know. So and he wasn't the only child. There were other children there that experienced the whole chaos and the whole drama. None of them is responding the way he is responding. Why is he responding like this? Because of his temperament. His approach to things is naturally fear-based because of his temperament, and now something again now happened, you know. So this is it. Now for me as a parent, I already know this. What do I want to do? I know that for this, when it comes to temperament issues, when a particular thing happens as a result of temperament, it is not just going to go from today till tomorrow. It needs a lot of patience and consistency. You need to be super consistent and be patient for you to help your child get over that stage. Anyway, that's by the way. So I was talking about personality. So at the end of the day, your child experience, the way you are raising your child, will go a long way to impact that child's personality, how the child will come out. Temperament plays a great role, but you as a parent, the way you are raising your child will go a long way to impact the personality. Now that's about melancholic. Let's talk about phlegmatic, for example. They are naturally peaceful, peace-seeking, obedient children. They don't like fight. It's who the children are. Now, as a parent, you are constantly, because they are the peaceful children, you are constantly lauding it, exploiting their nature. So you are giving them more time to practice their natural self. When we say practice makes perfection, it is what it is. So you give them more time to practice their weaknesses. You give them more time to grow in their weaknesses. At the end of the day, what happens? That now becomes who they are, their personality. Because you didn't give them any time to balance. So parents, you have a great role to play in your child's personality. Now, this is where you need to learn for yourself. It is why you need to learn for yourself. You need to understand your child. You need to have a vision. You need to know exactly what you are doing as a parent. We also have other ways where personalities are formed. Screen time, television is a great way. Is an agent of socialization, agent of teaching for our children. I remember back then when, I don't know if I'm the only one that noticed this or have this impression or something in my head, the era where the average Nigerian girl started wearing camisole and all of that was the era where Genevieve started Nollywood. I don't forget. I remember there was a particular movie she acted one time, and after that movie, every single girl I knew around my area were wearing spaghetti hand, camisole. That was what they were wearing. Girls that usually would cover their bodies, they won't be able to dress like that out of the house. Just wear it inside the house. You are going out to cover your body. We're not comfortable at that. We're not comfortable with that. Every single girl started dressing like that. Go to university campus, almost every single girl. People like me, I couldn't wear that. I've always been a very good girl. And then I wasn't confident in my own body, so I couldn't wear camisole. I would always cover up. That's the impact of television. I remember that thing. I always remember. I don't remember when Genevieve was trending. She was all over movies. Girls started dressing, started there to dress, reduce the length of their skirts, reduce the length of their dressing, of their tops, the blouse, the hands, and all of that. That's the impact of television. Even till today, we still have the impact of television. So what your child is learning is always planting a seed. And that seed will germinate in your child to help shape their personality. Then let's talk about let's talk about friends in school, everywhere. My church teacher was telling us the other day that when he was growing up, usually because he's melancholic, yes, the brother is melancholic. Oh my gosh, I'm melancholic. So he was telling us that when he was growing up, he was a bully at some point. He did not just wake up to be a bully. He was constantly being bullied. People were always bullying him. So one day he decided that, I'm going to give it back to them. And guess what he did? He learned how to defend himself. So what he was doing was, instead of him to just, he would not even wait to examine the intent of a person. The next thing he's attacking, you come near him and the first thing he wants to defend with is attack. So that was how he became a bully, bad mouthing people, doing all sorts of manners, because of peer pressure, because of friends, because of environment. Thank God he got born again early. Otherwise, who knows, maybe he would have been a sadist or something. Today, that is what we are talking about. The environment, peer pressure, they have a role to play in shaping your child's personality. Now, here are a few things I recommend for parents. Okay, let me quickly write what I wrote here. Okay, other things. Okay, I also wrote about other things that can shape a person's personality. Life experience, this is very important. I don't know how I was almost going to forget about this. Thank God I wrote it down. Life experience goes a long way to shape a person's personality. Talk about your family structure, your family atmosphere. The drama that goes on in your home goes a long way to shape your child's personality. Bear that in mind. I always say to parents, see, it is not just about what you do to your child that matters. What you do to your domestic staff plays a great role. What you do to your own siblings plays a great role. What you do to your in-laws, to people around, what you do to your spouse, they play a great role, because your atmosphere is shaping your child's personality. Your atmosphere is constantly planting a seed and shaping your child's personality. Unfortunately, one of the issues we have is that you don't have a child behave, and the behavior will tell you, oh, it's the atmosphere that is making me behave like this. It is how you are doing that is making me behave like this. Because of that, we live in denial. Because of that, we don't know the effect of the things we are doing. I say to parents, for example, if your home is constantly chaotic, maybe you have maids, you have people around, you're always shouting all over the place, your children will not even have time to bond among themselves. You want your children to be united, then you have maids, you are always maybe on their case, then your children will not have time to bond. You and your spouse, you are always chaotic, dramatic. It's always drama between you two. Your children will not have time. There will be no time to really bond. It is only by the grace of God, God's intervention. There will be no time, because everyone will literally be walking on eggshells. So your family, the atmosphere in your home, they are part of what the experiences your children are having. They will shape their personality. And I say to parents, they may shape their personality in a way you do not even expect. So you are not able to link it. When we talk about children having low self-esteem, a lot of the time at home, their friends outside will say things, right, that will hurt them. But when they come home, the drama that happens in the house is what will impact them more than what their friends say outside. So as a parent, and you have a vision, your home must be such that nurtures the vision you have. You cannot afford to just leave your home like anyhow. Not anything goes, anything comes. Your home cannot be anyhow. Your home must be super intentional. You must know exactly what you are doing. You must learn to respect everyone. Oh, people think, oh, because you are not mean to your child, you have a maid, you are mean to your maid, your child will not grow up being mean. Really? You wonder why your child will not grow up and they will not have empathy towards you as a parent. After all I've done for you, after sucking my breast, after doing XYZ, you are like this to me. Hey, your atmosphere did not nurture empathy. So your child will grow up and will not have empathy in them. Because your atmosphere did not nurture it. Let me repeat that. You have a maid. You have people living with you, right? You treat your children, oh, super special. Those people living with you, you treat them with, should I say wickedness, for lack of better word. You treat them with wickedness. Then you grow up, you expect that your child doesn't feel your pulse. After all you have done for them, you have taken them everywhere, you have done it. No. You don't nurture empathy in your child. You didn't model it to your child. Remember, your children are your responsibility. And when you grow up, your child may not see you as their responsibility. So if your child doesn't see you as their responsibility, then they now need empathy to be able to extend love to you. Practical love to you. They now need empathy to be able to extend practical love to you. And how did you now nurture that empathy? How did you model empathy? What did your environment, the environment you raised your children, what did the environment say about empathy? It said 0. So your child, you don't learn that. So as a parent, life experiences play a great role in shaping a person's personality. And it starts from you, the home. Life experience is not just about the home, it's only about outside. School, their friends, where they go to. Now, this is why as a parent, whenever your child comes back, in the Visionary Parent Academy, one of our lifestyles is catching up. Finding out from your children how their day went. Anything special? Did they learn anything? Was there anything particular that you need to talk about? That you need probably to heal from? These things are super important. Every single day when your child comes back, do well to find out, how did your day go? People always say, oh, don't ask your child how did your day go. Ask open-ended question. That's fantastic. I start by asking, how did your day go? My day was fine. Okay, what was fine about your day? Something like this, something like this. Oh, so it leads to conversation. Encourage your children to journal. When they journal, once in a while, they are not home, you just pick their journal. Once in a while, you pick their journal, you go through it. If they have things that they didn't remember to share or not something, you just note it down and you bring it up in a conversation. Not like directly, like, okay, I saw this in your journal. No, you bring it up in a conversation in a way that they don't know you saw that you went through their journal. You talk about it. You help them heal. Make them feel very comfortable to talk to you. Have a comment. That is why next month, our challenge for next month is creating a connection. How to build a connection that leads to influence. A connection that leads to influence, that your child can genuinely trust you and you'll be able to influence them. That is our topic for next month. That is our challenge for next month. Even if you're not in the Visionary Parent Academy, you can join us for the challenge. It's always open to member of the public to join us. So build a deliberate bond with your children, a connection with your children, so they can talk to you. When they tell you things, then you are able to work. I always say to parents that if your children cannot talk to you, they cannot confide in you, then how will you know what is going on in their lives? If you don't know what is going on in their lives, how will you be able to guide them? Yesterday, it was Stella Damascus that said she will, okay, I think she talked about it was the silence culture in her home that made her feel broken. I saw a video today where the woman said at 8 years old she was abused. She didn't tell anyone. Last week I had 2 teenagers in my house. Last week Friday, both of them were abused at 8. Till today they are 13. They didn't tell anyone. Like, they didn't tell their parents. Okay, the only people they told, one of them told her pastor, a male pastor. The other one told her teacher in school that she calls her godfather. Now imagine if this male teacher and male pastor I don't know them. Imagine if they are good for nothing. What do you think will happen? Yeah, the trauma will be building up. And what makes you think the girls will still tell? They may still not tell their parents. They may still not tell anybody. They end up becoming broken adults. They are not telling. If they don't tell you, how will you be able to guide them? If they don't tell you, how will you be able to help them heal, find closure, and grow healthy personality? You won't be able to do that. So you must build connection with your children. It is not even negotiable. I always say, see, a lot of the things we talk about that, assign trust to your children, don't let your children take age-appropriate decisions, have a connection with your children. It is not just for one singular reason. This seems to be the foundation of parenting with an intention, intentional parenting, or parenting with a vision, seems to be the foundation of them all. So yes, temperament is how a person is naturally wired, right? And personality is how a person turns out at the end of the day. How a person is wired has a role to play in how a person turns out. However, it is not, have you read about this debate of nature, nurture? Nature, nurture. The debate is still 50-50. Nature is 50, nurture is 50. Now let's do the math together. If nature is 50%, nurture is 50%, it simply means that, let's say your child is scoring 50% naturally on let's say on intolerance. The child is scoring 50% on intolerance, and you are now nurturing intolerance on the child again, right? You are nurturing intolerance, which is 50%. What do you think will happen? The child becomes 100% intolerant. Do you get the gist now? Exactly where I'm going to. Nurture brings 50%. Nature brings 50%. So which means that it is supposed to be a balance. The personality now is a balance. So if the nurture now brings 50%, the nature brings 50%, instead of the nurture to balance it with the 50%, the nurture is reinforcing the nature. What do you think happens? It simply means that the child becomes 100% in their weakness. Just the same way a child has innate ability, innate maybe passion, strength, skills, or whatever we call it. You are nurturing that. You give them an opportunity to thrive, to explore. What do you think will happen? They are going to fly. They become star boys and star girls. Why? Because they naturally have that gift, and you nurtured that gift. They become star children. The same thing, children have such traits that will make them fine human, or that will make them unhealthy human. So if you are nurturing those weaknesses they have, what happens? It simply means those weaknesses will become 100% in those weaknesses. So did you get that gist? That is the simplest way for me to explain it. And I do hope that you got it. So I said, you as a parent, your parenting style has a great role to play in how your child's personality is shaped, your parenting style. I talked about screen time. I remember I referred to Genevieve and the advent of girls wearing small, it was camisole then and jean. It was not just about fashion trend. It was fashion trend that actually gave rise to a lot of it was a fashion trend that actually impacted beyond trends, that gave rise to a major mindset shift. Growing in their weakness is very risky. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma. That gave birth to a lot of, it's not just fashion trend, a lot of mind shift. Because then girls were dressing where, I remember back then, now we used to dress, open your body, we dare not wear camisole and go out. But when that came out, everybody just felt comfortable. I remember the first time my elder sister, she was already in the uni there or something like that. She had a friend who came from her house to greet my sister. She wore a camisole. I remember I was like, like I was totally surprised when we sat down. She was talking about one movie by Ukwa, Ikemowo Ukwa. She was talking about it. She watched it, talking about Genevieve's movie and all of that. That was about the time. You can take your mind back to see. Just do your research, do your mental research, take your mind back to see. That was about time. Now, media pressure, God bless you, ma. Now, this was the time. So till today, media still has influence. Social media, that's not even, from small, they have influence a great deal. That is not even, so they plant seeds that grow to shape your child's personality. I've talked about that. School, peer pressure, I've talked about that. They plant seeds that shape your child's personality. Then one of the ones I talked about that you need to be super aware of, your home environment, your home structure. They help your child form their personality. I only talked about, having chaotic home. I didn't talk about other things. For example, you have a typical sanguine child. You know that a typical sanguine child, naturally, one of their weaknesses is self-discipline. Your sanguine child doesn't know how to delay gratification. That is how they are, because they are the now people. You know, they are the life of the party. For them to be the life of the party, they have to be everywhere. For them to be everywhere, they can't be somewhere for too long. I mean, think about it. They can't be somewhere for too long. If they are somewhere for too long, it means they can't be everywhere. There's the leave for now. Thank you, ma. If they are somewhere for too long, it means they can't be everywhere. So it means they are just short-lived in their behavior. That is why if you see them, their anger is usually very, should I say, eruptive, but it's not long, it's short-lived. Their attention span, they don't hold interest for long, it's short-lived. Their interest is short-lived. They are the typical children that are starters and not finishers. They are likely going to be starters and not finishers. You know why? Today this one they are interested in this one. Something draws their interest. Oh, they are super interested. You think, oh, they have found it, and before you see what is happening, they found another one that is interested. They are interested in. They're moving there. They are usually what is it called? Halfway. Starters are not finishers. Now, one of the things about these people is that they lack discipline, self-discipline. Now, as a parent, you want to raise, I like that guy. The guy is so self-disciplined. That is personality. That guy is self-disciplined. That is personality. You know, so you want to raise self-disciplined children who grow into self-disciplined adults, and you don't have a structure in your home. Help me make sense. Make it make sense to me. Then you don't have a structure in your home. A structure. That was why last month our challenge in the academy was creating a family structure system in our home. We had 4 master classes here. You can also check them out and see how you can take action. Yeah, we have a material for it. If you want it, you can ask. You can, not for free, we'll give it to you, but not for free, pay a token for it. So you don't have structure in your home. You don't have boundaries. Your home is porous. Like anything comes, anything goes. Imagine a child, structure, yes, thank you, ma. Imagine a child who is already short-lived, who has everything about them is short, short, short. Attention span short, interest short, anger short. What other thing? Everything just short, short, short. Then you don't have structure in your house. What does that mean? They're just going to do anything, anyhow. Anyhow, they're just going to live anyhow. And that child will grow without anyhowness that you raised him with. Excuse me, what do you expect? Of course, the child will change, the boy will change women like rapper. You are, you are wondering, your father is not a womanizer. Your mother is not a womanizer. I'll be a manizer. Where did you learn it from? Temperament, nurturing. They married. And the product, you know, the two of them, the temperament and the nurturing, married and they produce anyhow. That is it. Now let's look at someone, you know, who is naturally impatient. Do not raise them with impatience. They now grow up. The next thing you are hearing, your daddy has never slapped me in his entire life. You were with us. You grew up with us. Did you ever see me and your daddy fight? No, me and your daddy never fought. You went home. You are beating your wife. You are challenging your husband. Where did you learn that from? Come, let me tell you. Temperament, nurturing. Remember I said temperament is 50%. Nurture is 50%. That you don't have certain traits. Now, a person gets his temperament from 6 major people. The parents, that's husband and wife, mom and dad. Grandparents, that's paternal grandparents, that's mom, dad's mom and dad, that's 4. Maternal grandparents, that's mom's dad and mom, that's 6. So if you don't have it, your in-law, one of your in-laws may have it. One of your parents may have it, you know. And you know what? They may not express that their lack of self-discipline the way your child will express it, because whether we like it or not, our culture has an influence in how we express our innate traits. That is why you see a typical Nigerian, they will say men are polygamous in nature. Then these men go abroad, that their polygamy by nature it goes extinct. You are wondering, excuse me, you were polygamous in nature in Nigeria. Why are you no longer polygamous in nature in the US? Because culture has come to play a role. So the era your grandfather was, or the era their grandfather was, or the era you were, you know, the way you now express those your traits, you know, may be different from the way your child is going to express their you know, every generation has their own culture. Every generation has the culture. So the culture will influence the way you express your traits. The same way the child's culture will influence the way your child expresses his or her traits. And we say, me and your daddy will never ever fought. So where did you learn it from? They still learned it from you. You were the one that nurtured it. You were the one that influenced it. That is it. So don't sit down, or okay, maybe not you, totally you, maybe the environment also, maybe media, maybe peer pressure, maybe life experiences. Life experiences is not just only about parents, it's about life experiences. Some children, things happen and it takes them a very long time to get over it. Yes, life experiences. It takes them I was telling them, the visionary parents yesterday or so, that see, everyone has healing timelines. We have different healing timelines. Some people, when something happens, they just snap at and they move. In fact, apart from healing timelines, we have different healing styles. Some people, when something happens to them, you will see them that instant, nothing will happen to them. You know, they are just the way they are. But after a while, reality will not dawn on them and they will be totally broken. So that's not even what we are talking about now. We're talking about everyone having different healing timelines, you know. So when something happens to some people, they may heal from it instantly. Something happens to some other people, they may not heal from it instantly. They may struggle so much to heal from it. It takes them a long time to heal from it. So environment plays a great role. Maybe you have neighbors who have planted the seed. I remember I was in a place one time I told my husband, we're living in a place, I told my husband that, see, we live in an environment that is, marriage is almost toxic. You have spouses always quarreling, always fighting. It is not it's not the kind of seed I want to sow in my children. No. Where spouses are always fighting and quarreling, we may not always be fighting and quarreling. I mean, we may never even fight and quarrel. But our children will not see us as abnormal. How can you live in a compound where you have 4 people, you are the only one not fighting and quarreling? That's not normal. Or even in the compound, people come and go. The ones that come, they are fighting. Tomorrow another person comes, they are fighting. You are the only ones not fighting, then something is wrong with you. They may think we are the ones that are not normal in the whole thing at the end of the day. You know, so those neighbors now, maybe planting seeds in them. Movies plant seed in people a great deal. You hear people say, that's how women are, that's how women are. What is your statistics that that's how women are? How many women have you encountered? How many men have come to sit you down, tell you about, have come to sit you down to tell you about their wives or about their girlfriends for you to know how women are? Is media, is TV that is giving this impression. That's how women are, that's how women are. People can even come up, write all sorts of stories. That's how women are, that's how men are. You know, so life experiences also goes a long way to shape our children's personalities, what they go through in life. Good, bad, what they go through in life. I said to my children that one of the reasons you must, anytime you give, one of the reasons you should always help people, not just giving. You help by listening, you help by sharing, you help by being patient with someone, you help a lot of ways. It's an act of kindness. One of the reasons you should do that is that each time you help someone, each time you are kind to someone, you are paying it forward, you know. Because when you are kind to someone, that person learns to be kind to another person. You are constantly paying it forward, your kindness. That person learns to be kind to a person. So I give them this practical experience. I think I shared it in the visionary, in the Boss of Me magazine. Yes, you need to get the Boss of Me magazine. How did I forget to mention it? It's just 1,000 naira. It is super rich. This Easter edition, we have over 70 pages. And it was deliberate because it's holiday, because one is children to be super occupied. And we have this self-led mentorship class ongoing. How did I forget to mention that? If you have a child between 8 to 17 years old and they have not registered, please register them. It is going to be transformational for them. They are actually going to learn. They are going to be empowered. I guarantee you that we have 4 coaches. We're even considering 5 coaches. So please, they are going to have topics from peer pressure to distraction management to self-responsibility to self-education, emotional intelligence. 12 topics, 6 weeks, 6 classes, 2 weeks, 14th, 16th, 18th, 21st, 23rd, 25th. It is just register your child. Please send a message and that's how you can register your child. You know, so I was telling my children, I think I shared this one of the editions of this Boss of Me magazine. I was telling them, imagine you come to a place, you have you put a tap in a place. Let's say you come to a place, the whole place, you are the first person in that. You come to a place, you see a tap there, everybody goes there to fetch water, everybody goes there to fetch water. I said, the next person that will build a house there, what do you think will happen? They said that person will also put a tap there for everybody to fetch water. That is it, environmental influence. So before people there will now realize, no, let's sell water. Maybe someone that is coming from another place where they sell water, that will now come and tell them, no, let's sell water, let's not be giving them for free again. Everybody will just feel that is the standard, that is the way to go, way of life. And people who have even benefited from that free water, they also want to give free. Freely I give and freely I receive, freely I will give, or something like that. So please, Yes, 76 pages. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you, ma. So yes, that is it. We all want to raise children who are successful, children who are happy, children who are healthy, who are balanced, emotionally balanced, children who don't have baggages, who are traumatized, And so what we need to do is to be super intentional. It is personality that your child grows up and people see. It is that personality that will determine what is his personality. He's a narcissist. That's personality. Oh, I like this person, he's so confident. That's personality. Oh, this one is quite patient. That's personality. This woman, she's a people pleaser, please. That's personality. you know she talks out of point anyhow, no boundary, no control. That's personality. Wow, low self-esteem, personality. She's too self-absorbing, personality. He's too condescending, personality. These are all personality traits. That's what I mean. So what do you want to do as a parent? You want to begin to nurture them. I've mentioned how these personalities, how these traits are formed in our children. So you want to nurture the personality you want to see in your children. The truth of the matter is, temperament traits, you cannot take away temperament traits from a person. Nah, it is how we are born. However, you do not have to nurture, especially if that temperament trait is not a strength, is a weakness. Even when it's a strength, you still have to help your child to learn to balance them. Otherwise, they get, too much of everything is bad. Otherwise, it becomes too much and it becomes bad. So you still have to help them find a balance. So if you got value today, let me know you got a value, and do where to share. Click the link, copy the video and share to friends, share to family, share to everyone. Share. Go to your children's WhatsApp and share, and WhatsApp group in school and share. Go to your church community and share. Go to your alumni community and share. Just share everywhere on social media platforms you belong to. Share. Let people know that you got value here today. That's the only thing you can do to say thank you for giving you value, and to encourage people to come and to encourage me to come back here tomorrow. Now remember, the Visionary Parents Academy is an academy where parents get empowered, get skilled up to raise the children in their vision. Yes, we are open for registration for 2026. You want to send a message to ask how you can join. You can register now and begin to spread your payment until it's 2026. We also have the self-leadership class for children, self-leadership club for children, where preteens from ages 8 to 17, they come and get empowered to lead themselves. We want to raise children who can lead themselves, who are responsible for themselves, who understand that their life belongs to them. There are so many children, even to university level, they don't realize that their life belongs to them. They don't realize that it's their action, their consequences, that it is their action that shape their life, their consequences and all of that shape their life. They don't realize that they just do anyhow. You are wondering, for example, you are telling a child that don't smoke. They don't even understand what you mean by it's going to hurt them. They don't realize that, okay, if I'm smoking now and they say smokers are liable to die young. If I die young, I will not achieve my vision. I will not be successful how I want to be successful. I will not even live long. They don't realize that. You tell a child, oh, take time, take your book and read. They don't realize that you're telling them to read is for their own good. They don't realize that, okay, if I read, I pass my exam. If I pass my exam very well, I can get a scholarship. If I get a scholarship very well, I can actually be this. If I be this very well, I can graduate and come out. I can easily get a job of my choice. Even the economy is biting. People say they don't have jobs. There are people who still have jobs because of how they have placed themselves. Let me place myself in that place. Some children, they are not able to tie today to their future. They don't even understand what the future is all about. I don't blame them. A lot of us, we didn't know that. Even till I was in university, I wasn't able to think. I remember one time, I think I was in my teenage years, when my cousin and I went out. We're coming back and she saw someone with a bag and she said, when I grow up, this is how I'm going to be shopping. You know, my bag will be so full. I go to the market, I shop, my bag will be full. This is how I want to be shopping. It didn't make sense to me. Like, I just said, this is how I want to be shopping too. It didn't make sense to me. I wasn't able to connect it, as in, like, she was already thinking of the future. She was already thinking. I wasn't thinking. I didn't have that sense to think like that, you know. And very many people are like this, and they will not have sense to think until for a very long time. So in the self-leadership class, what we do for these children is we actually now help you, partner with you, so that they can begin to realize that, see, this life is theirs. They need to think for themselves. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much, ma. They need to know that it is their life. Every choice they make affects them. It is why you tell them to read, they are grumbling, because they don't know they are reading for themselves. If they know that they are reading for themselves, why would they grumble? You tell a child to do a chore, the child is grumbling. If the child knows that he is doing that chore for himself, will they grumble? They will not grumble. So in the Self-Leadership Academy, what we do is we partner with you to nurture this self-ownership, self-responsibility, self-awareness in them, so that they know that their life is theirs, and you are only making a sacrifice. What you do as a parent is to make a sacrifice for them, and not necessarily because you are doing it because you want to gain something. The gain and everything is theirs. Thank you so much. So you want to join us, you also want to get the self-leadership magazine, just 1,000 naira. But if you register your child for the self-leadership class, you are not buying the magazine, you get the magazine, because we have a lot of activities we are going in the magazine that we are going to be doing in the class. Thank you so much. If you got value, like I said, please copy the link and share wherever you know parents are gathered. Please share there. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Yes, register for the 2026 Visionary Parents Academy. Send a DM and make the payment instrumentally before January. Thank you so much, man. Thank you everyone that joined me today. See you next week, Wednesday. Bye bye.